but it is still a very powerful pick, and we've seen it pop off on multiple occasions during this tournament.
Yeah, we have seen iBoy, I think, had the greatest effect on this champion so far. It's a very snowbally champion. We've been talking to coaches from LPL, and their understanding of this is basically you want to funnel all your resources into Samira. You get her ahead. She can have multiple resets on her E. She can't be taken down because she has so much sustain. It's just a nightmare to deal with, and she's also very good when you have those knockups into the ganks. So far, we're not going to really have that in the bottom lane. That's typically the best support that
a bit of a dark horse coming maybe into this tournament, and we might be seeing them in the finals if they can make this composition work. Because right now, I'm looking at a Jackson and Olaf. That top lane is just so.
Overall, we're seeing a very strong 4-man core from W that can hold towers well. They have the Alistar, they have the Olaf as a front line, so they're not worried about getting tower dove, and they can just play the late game in a 4-1 matchup, have the Jack split push, and be a nuisance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Game 3 is underway. We jump onto the Rift. As we can see already, handbags being thrown at each other in the top side as Zoom and Breathe just get acquainted with the matchup. Having a look at the quick little bit of summoners. Nothing untoward, nothing too crazy. I do like the press the attack, obviously, on the Kindred is incredibly standard, but you can get that early kind of, trading advantage into a matchup. That press the attack can be so deadly, so I'm curious to see how Kanavi plays this champion.
Extra tick of damage definitely helps you secure those kills. And in the top side, I just want to talk about this skin. This Elderwood skin coming out from, the Ornn. It's just, it's kind of counter to his element because he's actually all about fire and he needs to cut down a lot of trees to make his furnaces work. But it's still a lovely skin.
It's a beautiful skin. Like let's not beat around the bush here as the Elderwood skins. And I think have you ever seen the Ivern one? The Ivern one in game looks awesome. He's so creepy.
Yeah, that one gave me nightmares. He looks very alien-esque.
Yeah.
Taking a look at the starts, we're gonna get actually very different starts on the start of this, and to be expected coming in from JD Gaming, as we did talk about the snowball potential Samira has, and on the other hand, trying to keep your split pusher in an advantageous position for beishang, because that is going to be the main way you're going to play out the map later on in the game. So pretty expected for both of these. It's really about who can avoid those ganks better, and I do have to give the upper hand to WE as they do have that deep ward on the red buff, so they're going to have a better idea of the timings that this Kindred is going to come down.
Still need to be careful. We have seen in the past that despite Jiumeng's perfect information as to where everyone is, he still finds himself in precarious situations, but has looked very much better and much more revived to the Jiumeng we saw in 2020 coming into this particular series than he had for pretty much the rest of Demacia Cup. So definitely looking forward to seeing how he's able to make this Kaiser pick work versus LokeN on the Samira. And Samira is one of those champions that, like, on paper is very, very, very powerful, but it still also has that situational kind of setup about her. We haven't really seen her that much. I want you to explain to me where she fits in terms of the meta and where she kind of, you see her going kind of like, down the line of AD carries as a priority.
Well, I think they are going to tune her numbers down a little bit and just make it a little bit balanced overall. After that state, she's not going to be first pick priority all the time. I think teams are going to understand when to use her better. It's really a great AD counter to teams that don't have a lot of crowd control, but after we... okay, so I'm just going to go on about Samira. Her only real counter is crowd control that can stop her ult from channeling, and if you can see teams that aren't packing a lot of that, or teams that traditionally are not bottom lane focused, then that would be a great scenario to pick Samira. Right now she's a little bit busted, so you pick her regardless of the situation, but in a balanced state, I can imagine that would be the situations you would look for.
Oh, Shanks taking a lot of damage there. One more auto attack and that E proc would have gone off there for Kanavi, but does force the mid laner from Team WE back behind his tower. He's going to wait until this wave crashes in. We'll lose a couple of minions, but overall not going to lose the experience. Advantage to JDG, but not a huge one.
And both sides pretty happy with that one. W did a really good job of pushing out the minion wave and having it bounce at the right time when Kindred was in the bottom side, so they avoid any gank pressure whatsoever. Very well done on that. That's really the make or break for bot lanes, is just controlling your minion wave to where you want it to be. So we could see some very, very aggressive attempts by LvMao in the past minute. None of them really working out. They're able to dodge out on that one.
And again, for Team WE, like, you know, it's pretty much a copy past, apart from, like, you know, the top on the support of what they had in the last game. They do not have the slicey maelstrom this time around, so definitely not as easy to kind of just run into people. But the Jax gives you a different level of pressure in those side lanes.
Does make you a bit more split push focused rather than team fight focused, like with the Kennen. And with this minion wave advantage, we see Shanks and beishang great synergy. You're able to get a few chickens away. But the most important thing is I think JDG still have the idea of where this ward is going to go down. So I fully expect them to be able to dissuade any ganks going into the bot lane. And when they have this control here, again, lots of pressure coming out on WE. It's going to be down to Jiumeng and Missing to control their wave, hold their wave close to their tower, and avoid these ganks.
And with beishang getting a bit of a reset down, pressure in bot and mid does mean that the early dragon pressure is in favor of JDG. Breath does find himself just hiding in a bush a little bit as Xiye does try and get a little bit frisky. Unfortunately, because of that, he does force himself back out. LvMao going to force to flash himself as well outside of that dragon pit. TP is going to be called in here by Ornn, so JDG fully committing to this right now. Looks like Team WE just going to try and look for the fight afterwards, but they get caught out, and that is going to be a quick kill traded back. 4v4 as the Jax has arrived. There is a great Shurima shuffle. LokeN jumps in over with the blast cone as they keep pushing in on top of this. beishang trying his best, still has no ultimate available to him. LokeN just trying to keep himself down as the Missing jumps straight in with the flash, gets the pulverized down. They try to jump in as LokeN is feeling frisky, and LokeN picks up a kill alongside his mid laner with xiye. They are just pushing forward. Jiumeng receives one more auto attack. He will get it, but will it cost him his life? He just about gets underneath the tower. It's a 4 for 2. JDG pick up the dragon.
A great find there. Early use of Zoom's TP just to get into the fight, and they start off very aggressively, using their combo early to secure the Drake. I'm not sure Shanks can find this. That was a bit of an overreach right there. Oh,
yeah. Not quite. But yeah, that definitely felt like a little overzealous. But overall, in the end, it was JDG that committed to the play first. You can see the TP coming in. Zoom was there before the Jax, and they were able just to get the perfect setup.
Yeah, we do see right at the start they get Shanks early. Kanavi does, and LokeN actually both have to flash out of the shockwave there, but they do have a numbers advantage after this one. They continue to pursue them, and I think Breathe goes in a little too deep, trying to finish off the tank in Zoom. LokeN just goes sideways, as now they have to run back up on the ramp when Kanavi and LokeN are in position to. They're just lucky that Jiumeng doesn't go down there. Samira does not. She's already very fed, as is. And we're going to see a continuous snowball from JDG, picking up objective after objective this one, especially after Shanks kind of messed up his recall timing there by going for the chance kill.
Does open up a lot more objectives, a lot more pressure, as you can see. High Noon Quiver and the steel-plated toe caps picked it up here by Samira. Or there's Berserker Greaves. They're hard to tell sometimes.
But definitely steel plates.
Definitely steel plates. But yes, we're going to see now Missing finding LvMao, and LvMao will die. beishang finds that quick kill. It's a 3v2 at best, and LokeN doesn't realize that he has to back away. So overall, a very good little pick there by Team WE. Keeps them within touching distance of the gold, and they just need to make sure that they don't really fall back for any of those kind of over-exerting plays like we saw coming out from Shanks. But again, small little advantages that they need to...
A really good find there. They know that the Kindred is in the top side. Numbers advantage in bot. Get the deep warding down. There's still a pink in that jungle there. And my question really is, where is Kindred actually going to be able to... Ooh, they find the combo?
Ooh, they find the combo. Shockwave as well. Lots of damage, lots of CC. xiye puts down the Emperor's Divide, but it is not enough to keep him alive. And again, another good opportunistic kill from Missing, just setting up the rest of his team. We talked about it in previous series of how important this guy is to Team WE's success.
Missing has been absolutely on fire with these roams. This is one of those roam timings that people tend to forget about, but when you're getting pushed in, the wave hasn't really hit the tower yet, you're not losing XP, and people do assume that you're actually just waiting under tower. They assume that, hey, we have lane priority, so you probably are going to contest us there. Instead, Missing goes, finds a very opportunistic roam, gets the kill onto xiye, gets his ultimate as well, and I just also want to mention that that was technically very well done because it was timed as Kindred was taking down the ward, so they had perfect idea that the Lamb's Respite wasn't going to come in either. So it's just a lot of technical details, good timings for Missing, and I love the way he's been executing this.
He's played an absolute blinder all Demacia Cup, and you just kind of hope, if you're a Team WE fan, which in fairness there are a lot of them, they are an incredibly old organization, that you hope that this is a forever thing. You know, you hope that it's just ramping up until the best that he needs to be for LPL 2021 spring. Overall, still think that Missing is definitely a top 3 support in the league. Has always really just been at the top echelons of the league in terms of support players, and Team WE have done a fantastic job of building this roster kind of around him, and or maybe even him kind of facilitating the roster that's come around him in the end. So.
And we are seeing, however, JD Gaming regaining control of this entire river section of the map. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to come into this, and Jiumeng's not actually going to be there on time. So, interesting decisions right here. We're actually seeing Kanavi just straight go for the tower instead. They want to funnel that gold onto the Samira, get that snowball going like we were talking about. But will it cost him is the question.
Not really. They're smart enough and respectful enough to be able to back away from that turret just before there was any kind of shenanigans. Dragon has been started by Team WE. This is how they kind of got caught last time, so they need to be careful. There is not a TP for Zoom. So this should be a pretty easy take. Looks like it was gold now versus Dragon stack, so that JDG decided to take as a trade. So he's just funneled a little bit more gold into Samira with turret plates, get a little bit more XP and CS in the top side for their Ornn. And overall, it is a pretty equal trade again.
That definitely was a situation where JD Gaming could have opted for the Dragon. So it's very clear what their strategy is, and Jiumeng might be walking right into it.
Yeah, he has got Cleanse, has Flash as well, but he has to use both to just about keep himself alive. The TP's being channeled here. Double TP coming in actually for JDG as there's xiye, gets knocked back immediately, Shockwave back. They do get the Shurima shuffle, but it's a little too late. That is very, very unfortunate there for the side of JG, but fantastic play from Team WE, recognizing that they had the full damage combo to take him out.
Oh, that was just ugly from xiye. They have to burn 2 teleports to get in position, and then he still isn't able to flash away from the shockwave. So massive win from W off of that. That was a little bit unnecessary, honestly. JDG were going into that one. xiye probably a little bit too fast with the TP trigger, and it does end up costing massively.
Yeah, big mistake. I actually thought it was the Ornn as both TPs were coming in. I was like, oh yeah, put the Ornn behind them, and then yeah, I was like, put the Ornn behind them, and then put the Azir on the back line. You get basically a free setup of a front-to-back team fight. But fortunately for them, roles were reversed, and the Ornn was on the back end, with the Azir being very much on the front lines. So bit of a misjudge there from xiye, and this is something that you don't want to be. You don't want to be seeing too consistently if you're a JDG fan, because like we said, Jgl is no slouch, and Jgl is definitely not someone who we expected. Oh, that's unfortunate. Kanavi ended up getting the blue buff, but neither here nor there. But Jgl is someone that, was not terrible on this squad, and for xiye, this is an opportunity to prove that you were the better of the 2 mid laners, and this particular performance today against Team WE has been lacking, to say the least.
Yeah, xiye has always been that player where he is a big, we call him Mr. Big Shot. He always goes for the crazy play, the most aggressive one, but he also needs another very stable carry by his side to take the attention away from him, and that's why the xiye Mystic combo was so great, because Mystic demanded a ton of gravity from the enemy team. Now, I think the problem with xiye on this team, however, is there's no one really taking away eyes from him. Like, LokeN's going to be very far in the back line. For the most part, Zoom is in plain sight, playing in the front. So who's actually going to be that second carry to draw attention away and give those opportunities for xiye to show up big? That's kind of the question I had for JD Gaming in this roster, and so far we haven't really seen it.
Oh, LvMao gets himself caught, unfortunately, and just has to get himself killed. That is going to be... Rift Herald started, it was stopped, and it will be started again. However, JDG, they're not willing to just give this one up for free. They want to make it as long and arduous as possible. If they delay it long enough, they will have LvMao back in their team, so it could be a 5v5 skirmish over the Rift Herald.
It definitely can be the case. All ultimates up here, and we might finally be seeing LokeN able to use that ult during a teamfight scenario. He does have the Immortal Shield Bowl done already, and we have to be very cognizant of the crowd control incoming in these teamfights. He has to wait a long time. He has to wait for most likely the shockwave to go down, but once those initial crowd controls are down, he can just go in, swipe up the entire teamfight, and surprisingly enough, W actually just let this one go. Not really wanting to contest.
Very strange that they would do that as well, considering they were the one to pick up the pick in the mid lane. They were the one that started it before that pick, and it just feels like they kind of just weren't feeling 100% comfortable in the situation. But despite losing a pick, despite everything that went in positive for Team WE, it's actually the two objectives, the top lane tier 1 and the Rift Herald, going in favor of JDG. A bit of a momentum switch that I didn't really expect.
Yeah, it feels like they were trying to play that a little bit too safe. They only burned the Alistar ult, but with numbers advantage there, I definitely felt like they could have contested. But they're going to use that tempo into the bot lane and get a swing.
There is the shockwave, and xiye getting bullied like Shanks was in game 2. As Team WE find themselves another pick, they get themselves a reply to that tower on the top side, and we got ourselves a very, very even game now.
Wow, that was a pretty amazing play from WE. They basically read JD Gaming. They knew that Kanavi had to go there and, you know, take Herald. They have the timer on that. So they know there's not going to be enough numbers in the bot lane. And they essentially just traded away the Herald for the tower and the kill onto the bottom side. And now they have a dominant position at the Drake as well. So very interesting delayed sequencing coming out from WE. You know, they've really thought this far more than we have. They're much more ahead in the tempo.
How dare we assume that they were making the wrong choice and get themselves a kill, a dragon, a turret, so many small little advantages that will kind of keep them ticking over coming up into this mid game. But I'm actually curious to see how many stacks this Kindred has right now. Lands Respite has to be used, as does the Flash. Ornn comes off as well, only lands onto the very, very tanky Alistar. They try to jump in on top of this, and this looks like Team WE are feeling very, very comfortable to jump straight on top of LvMao. And Team WE definitely coming out trumps right now. Again, similar to Game 2, just picking up small little picks, small little overextensions, and punishing them so hard.
Kanavi was definitely greeting for the marks right there. Goes into the jungle, and what do you know? Jax is there waiting for him. So, very unfortunate timing. I think Kanavi was thinking like, oh, okay, well, the jungler is at the Drake, so I should be free here. Instead, just runs into the one member that's in the top side, has to burn his ult early, and, you know, things just going worse and worse for JD Gaming as they have this bit of a mishap here. However, I will say that this game is not the same as the previous one. I don't see any clear markers where they will get outscaled in this scenario. They still have the Azir, and Samira is still a champion that does relatively well into the late stages of the game as well. So, you know, it's a small mishap, but it's not going to cost them massively.
Small little mistakes, though, do add up in the long run. We'll have to see if JDG can shore them up to bring themselves back into this game. Not that they're out of it. Pretty damn close overall, but they are... You got to feel like they are starting to make a couple more uncharacteristic mistakes that we haven't really seen from them in a very long time. So I want to see them shore them up, really look to get advantages where they can, but just not give away, you know, easy, quick things that they could very easily just avoid.
I will say beishang has had much more impact on the map over Kanavi this entire series. He's been in the right positions. He's been better coordinated with his support most of all. And Kanavi was our MVP in spring of 2020, so Beishang really stepping up and showing that he's going to be a great contestant to that position.
Completely agree. Beishang having, again, another fantastically consistent start to the season, or rather end to the season. We'll see how he kind of transitions into the start once the LPL season starts in the early January. But again, overall, nothing really too untoward going to happen, I imagine, until we start seeing more dragons or potentially even a Baron fight. This split push is a lot more successful when you have minions, unfortunately for you, Breathe. So you'll have to wait for that next wave to pop in before you're able to do anything with that. And again, more and more kind of small little things we'll have to keep an eye out for as we see. Whoa! Xiye getting jumped in on top of and deleted. Jiumeng with the frame perfect cleanse. Yes, he uses both summoners, but he gets himself a pick, and that is, again, like I said, these small little things that are going to start adding up. Another potential pick coming in here as Zoom gets caught, and JDG, which they just didn't even need to do anything, get caught and killed.
What a goddamn swagger move coming in from Jiumeng. Tags a W, no hesitation, flies in instantly, and still gets the kill over Azir despite being tagged by the Emperor's Divide. That was truly insane damage coming out from his part, and very good on him to know all of his damage numbers. Xiye seems to be falling apart this game, honestly. Every time he's trying to hold a wave, he's just getting bounced on by multiple WE members.
LvMao went over the wall, but that's probably not where you want to be, buddy. I think Kanavi's going to have to leave you for dust. As I say that, though, he does get himself out. He is just trying to sustain off of the Baron. Ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. TP coming in here. This is going to be the Ornn joining the fight. Shockwave is still available. There is the Ornn horn. Does land on top of Olaf. Shockwave misses. And they are able to get xiye in, but he misses the Emperor's Divide. Now it's a bit of a scrappy fight overall. Jiumeng has blue buff, has full HP, but he does not feel confident going in on top of that. Overall, it's JDG who come out with the advantage of a 2-for-1 trade.
Very well played on the side of Kanavi. Actually finds enough damage to snipe the kill away. And Breathe overextending into the backline just a hair. He almost gets the Samira, does get the flash out of LokeN, but isn't able to close down on the deal. So just good pick on their part, and this should stop the Drake stacking coming in from WE. Let's watch that again. Breathe goes in, does find Kanavi, but LokeN is the real damage dealer in this team fight, and Breathe wasn't really able to find that one. Just a good fight overall, some good picks around the Drake area, and we're going to see this fight continued.
We actually see a extension, albeit a little bit later. Everyone is up. Summoner is pretty much non-existent for the side of Team WE, however, as JDG have a little bit of a better grasp over their flashes. The dragon has been started, missing down to about 2/3 HP. This dragon being melted very, very quickly. Kanavi gonna maybe try and jump over the top. No, he doesn't go for it. He only has it now. That's gonna be third Drake in favor of Team WE. JDG waiting on some key cooldowns to try and really go for this fight. And they're just gonna have to back themselves away. Overall, it's Team WE that come out on top.
Yeah, very interesting what's happened right here. JDG, of course, the main thing that they were lacking in that was their team fight ultimates. Lamb's Respite and Ornn were both down, so they think the better of it. Do not go all in onto that Drake. They do put WE onto the Dragon Soul timer once again, and they're trying to sneak away Baron.
Yes, but this time there were plenty of trinkets. They might just trying to get the fight. Nicely done by Missing. Stops the Ornn from everything. Flashes in. Shockwave onto 2. That's the combination. Jiumeng punches himself into the backline. Kanavi trying to do as much as he can over the backside, but he is dead. 4-for-0. JDG, they put their hands in the cookie jar and they get caught.
What an insane combo coming up from Missing. He's basically dribbling the ball up to the carries. Xiye doesn't have enough time to flash. WQ combo with the Shockwave going in. And I believe they tagged both carries in that single fight as well. So just hero plays from Missing, man. That was so fun to watch. Him also knocking out the Ornn rebuttal at the start of the fight. He basically single-handedly won that team fight.
I'm gonna say it right now. I am back on the Missing hype train. It kind of went away for a while, but I feel like it's back. This is just absolutely perfect. Interrupting the Ornn, and then flashes in, knocks up the Azir. Doesn't actually land it on LokeN with the shockwave, but it doesn't matter because it's too late then.
Oh, this is just swagger play from Missing. Absolutely just putting his horns down on the table and saying, I'm the boss right here. What a good cow.
I think everyone on the side of Team WE will be turning vegan after this one. This cow is saving their lives and setting up so much. Now we're looking at the first significant advantage of this game. 6,000 gold. 3 Drakes, so we're going to be waiting for that, Infernal Soul that will be spawning in just under 3 minutes. Breathe has got himself the Blade of the Ruined King as well as that Divine Sunderer, so he's got so much split push available to him with that Baron buff. It's going to be so easy for the side of Team WE to take whatever fights they want. They can hard force if they need to. They might look to try and go for it. Ornn is out. They're just gonna run him down. There's nothing he can do. That's the tankiest member, and he gets deleted. TWE are just in control.
Yeah, there was no one really on site coming in from JD Gaming. They thought the Ornn was able to hold the rotation, and Zoom, he realized a little bit late what was actually happening. Popped his Ornn, didn't get the second charge, and goes down before anything happens there. So this should be another 2 free towers for WE if they so choose. They're already pushing out the mid. They're pinging the bot lane tower as well. They're going to strip JDG of all of their outer defenses.
I want to know how many stacks Kanavi has on his Kindred marks right now, because I don't believe, I'm going to be honest, I don't believe he has gotten a single mark that hasn't spawned on Scuttle. So I think he might only be on about 2.
I'd say definitely more than that, because he is getting kills in team fights, and if you have the have the correct bounty, then it still gives you mark that way.
That's my point, though. If you have the correct bounty, and I don't know if he's had that person. I want to see it. We'll wait till the pan over. We won't talk about it until we see it, so it'll be a little easier. Shanks has snuck himself. Now he's going to be a little bit more of a nuisance. Shockwave forces the flash as LvMao, again, not having that summoner. We see how powerful it is when you have it, and how, not useless, but definitely how much more of a sitting duck you are without it, especially as Leona. 2-man pulverized, TP coming in off the back of that. That's going to be the Lamb's Respite used immediately. As we jump straight back in, Jiumeng has to flash away, but he is still alive. TP's available for WE. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now that this Kanavi Kindred has 1 stack. 1. So I knew it wasn't a lot.
Oh my god.
Been keeping an eye on it, Clement. I knew it was very important. That's going to be 2 quick kills. What do you do here? Sorry, 1 quick kill, I should say, and it might turn into 2 now as Zoom just goes a little bit too far, flashes himself away. There's the Ornn coming in. The Call of the Forge God goes across 2 people. It might be a fight on 2 fronts as LokeN is going to try and find Missing. Sorry, it's Kanavi that's trying to find Missing, and he does end up getting that kill.
But we're still on 1 stack, boys. Pauper Kindred, here we go.
This is a Kindred speed run. 1 stack percent. As we go back in on top, Kanavi forced to flash away as he has no Lamb's Respite. They might try and retake this fight. Zoom has TP'd in. There's a lot of summoners burned just before this dragon is spawning. I don't know how good or bad this is for either side. Looks like Team WE, they're going to try and force this. They're going to jump onto LvMao, who used the Zenith Blade and the Solar Flare, but is absolutely decimated before he can get anything else done. Shockwave lands on the Kindred, and now Jiumeng is going to be a fight between LokeN and Jiumeng. It's the AD carries that are the ones that are going to try and keep this fight going. LokeN jumps in, but he is taken down, and now it's all Jiumeng all the time. Zoom trying to run away, but you got 2 very, very fast, very hungry carries as the cow comes in to say, welcome to the party. It's going to be Infernal Soul. This game is all but done for Team WE.
What an amazing play by WE's carries. That was the one chance JD Gaming had to come back in the game. They had a 5v4 going into this team fight. LokeN looked like he was about to clean up as he does wait out the Shockwave initially coming in. So most of the crowd control is actually down here, but it's just a bit unfortunate that Kanavi actually falls down so damn early. LokeN is trying his damn hardest to get all of these kills in. He nearly gets it, but the counter-strike is too strong from Breathe. Blocks out all of the on-hit damage that is coming from that Inferno trigger and is able to clean him off as well.
I don't know what it is, But the Azir ain't it. That's all I'm kind of thinking right now. This xiye pick has just done the best part of nothing, in my opinion. It's really not had a good time. And poor Kanavi sitting on the single lonely stack of a Kindred. And this is the funny thing. You listen to people when they talk about Kindred. You listen to, you know, kind of content creators or pros or that. They don't believe that Kindred becomes a champion until she, at minimum, gets 4 to 5 stacks. Like, that's minimum. And that's when they're like, all right, cool. You can do something now. They're a basic champion. She's just so far behind. There's the Emperor's Divide forced out as Breeze just jumps in. He's actually caught between a rock and a hard place. He can't move. He might actually end up dying here. Breeze maybe forced the flash. He is, and that should keep him alive. There was a small moment of pause as the rest of JDG realized there was nowhere for him to go, but nicely done by him. But that's 3 ultimates and no real benefit from it from the side of JDG.
All of the members from W are able to escape after that one, so there's no follow-up kills right here. I just want to go back to your point on how poor this Kindred actually is. It's kind of amazing to me because he does have kills. Like, he has 4 kills and 1 assist, so there should be takedowns. They were just never on the right target. You can't switch them in combat. So, unfortunately for him, he's still stuck here. And without that extra 75 range that you do get from the 4-stack, it's so hard to actually play against an Orianna. You get tagged way too easily when you're trying to come in. And W know that. They're definitely playing around those short ranges from the backline carries.
Well, the Baron has already been started. Kanavi up towards the top side will be forced to jump straight away. As you can see him there, Jiumeng gets him out with the Lamb's Respite. It's a fight on 2 fronts. It's junglers versus the rest of the team. Oh, this is looking terrible for JDG, but amazing for Team WE. They get themselves the ace. And that is going to be Game 3 match point for Team WE. They're going to push in this mid lane, end this game, and be 1 game away from a finals date with Top Esports.
And this definitely felt like it could have been a 3-0. I'm getting absolutely hyped for this WE team. You know, they bring in multiple carry members, the likes of Shanks and Breathe, to shore up the other utility role members like Morgan and Teacher Ma that are not playing in the Demacia Cup, and they just look absolutely amazing. It gives beishang so much room to play around whatever lane he wants, and their teamfight threat has just gone through the roof. It's no longer you just have to keep your eyes on Jiumeng. You have to keep your eyes on everyone. Has ended up failing. They've ended up completely face flat on the ground. Their early game pathing, Kanavi is going bot lane, but great play by Jiumeng Missing. They actually bounce the wave, freeze it at tower, Kanavi goes down, finds no takedowns, no kills, and then when they finally do get into the Drake, even though LokeN is getting CS leads, he's getting turret plates, and he even has a Herald advantage, Jiumeng got ahead because of the kill.